like, bro, yeah, she got a kid. Look at his back. Oh my god.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another reaction. Reacting to Carthew's Dojo. What if Broly was sent to Earth instead of Goku? Yeah.
He'd be strong for real.
Too strong.
How strong would he be?
I mean, his power level at sitting level would probably be like 900. Oh, that's what he said in the last video.
900?
Yeah. And I think Demon King Piccolo was like 100 something. Maybe a little higher, maybe like 200 maybe at that point.
That's the thing.
That's still ain't. So, in the last video, he blew through him. So now it's Piccolo Jr. and his power level was about like.
He's almost to Raditz for real.
Not at that point. He was
Raditz is like 1,200.
Yeah, but that was before he met, even tried to train to fight. And then not even trained to fight, but that was before that. This was the first tournament when he fought Goku.
Like, yeah, he's still a kid.
He was still a kid, so he'd still be weaker. I don't know what his power level was then. Probably like 400 or something.
That's like
Max.
Strong.
800. But still, Broly got untapped power. He around hit 10,000 out of nowhere.
Or higher than that. He's
Higher
turning legendary.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, you enjoying these reactions, man? Let us know in the comments. Hit that like button, subscribe, and share. It's the road to 10K subscribers. Really appreciate all the support. I'll run into the video.
Is able to spit up an egg before succumbing to his injuries, though. This leads to a period of depression for Broly where he goes into isolation, feeling like a failure for letting Chi-Chi be killed and having no way to revive her. It's a 3-year-long isolation, but eventually Kami enters Broly's mind and tells him that Chi-Chi is alive and well. Broly doesn't believe him, but Kami explains that he's the one who created the Dragon Balls and Master Roshi did everything within his power to revive his student. That's right, during the 3-year time skip, Roshi trains with Master Karin and Ten Shinhan so he would be strong enough to journey to Kami's lookout using the power pole that Broly had left at the tournament. He then pleaded with Kami to restore Shenron, and Kami eventually gives in, knowing they'll need everyone they can get for the reincarnation of the Demon King Piccolo. Kami tells Broly that if he wishes to see his companions again, he should enter the tournament and defeat Piccolo Jr. Broly agrees without a second thought. So everyone reunites at the tournament. Roshi, Chi-Chi, and even Bulma, who helped Roshi track the Dragon Balls, were there. Ten Shinhan showed up as well, having left Karin's tower after Roshi did and training under Kami while Roshi searched for the Dragon Balls. Everyone is happy to be reunited, but it's short-lived for Broly, who gets chills down his spine. A presence unlike any he's ever felt before was shaking him to his core. It's none other than Piccolo Jr., who tapped into his own potential while training for 3 years, a sole goal of surpassing Broly in mind. In Broly's isolation and depression, he was very introspective and became more attuned with the world around him. Through his own natural talent, he learned to sense ki, which was useful. However, he might even be weaker than he was at the last tournament since he wasn't training or eating properly. Piccolo might actually end up being an issue for the young Saiyan. Roshi is the first to be eliminated from the main cast, leaving Piccolo, Broly, Chi-Chi, and Ten Shinhan in the semi-finals. Chi-Chi trained to be a good rival for Broly, but he was still able to beat her. This was by far the closest fight he ever had, though, and he is proud of his friend. Ten Shinhan is equally impressive, but is simply no match for a Piccolo that prepared to fight Ikari Broly. This leaves us with Broly versus Piccolo as the final match of the tournament. Piccolo had tried his best to prepare for the power of Broly in his Ikari form, but he fell considerably short of that goal. However, it was clear to Piccolo that this Broly didn't have that power. Without it, Broly stood no chance. Just to be clear, Dragon Ball characters get stronger based on their goals. Think of the Saiyan Saga as a clear example of this. Human characters doing Goku's training from the arc prior exceed Raditz just because he's the goal they want to overcome. Piccolo is enjoying the pummeling, but eventually he tells Broly that it's time for him to die. This was a pathetic display, even more pathetic than his friend's death. That was the wrong thing to say. Broly's power begins to spike and he transforms into the Ikari form once again. Even with a weaker base form, this is more than enough to beat Piccolo. After being declared the winner of the tournament, Broly doesn't stop there, since his rage doesn't subside, and he kills the Demon King once and for all. With Piccolo killed, his ki begins to fade, but at the same time, Broly can feel another power disappearing. Kami's ki begins to fade as he dies as well. Seemingly out of nowhere, Mr. Popo appears in front of Broly. He introduces himself as the attendant of God and tells Broly what Kami's final wish was. He wanted Broly to take over as the god of Earth. However, Broly doesn't want that position and instead recommends Master Roshi. The immortal Grand Master of martial arts is a far better candidate for the position of God than a man who can't control his own selfish rage. With Roshi being stronger than in the original series, and by extension rivaling the power Kami had before his death, Popo actually agrees that Roshi makes sense as the new god of Earth. Roshi is humbled by the offer and graciously accepts, seeing himself as better suited to help the world this way and perhaps even become more virtuous like his students. So Roshi hops on Popo's magic carpet, but before they fly to the lookout, Popo tells Broly and Chi-Chi that with Kami gone, the Dragon Balls will remain stone unless someone like Kami can reactivate them. Roshi will not be able to fulfill that role. With all that said and done, everyone goes their separate ways. Broly and Chi-Chi decide to train together back at Mount Paozu, so they build a home and spend the next 4 years training together. Meanwhile, Vegeta, Nappa, and Raditz are conquering a planet together for Frieza. But once they're done, Vegeta tells the other two to turn off their scouters so Frieza's men can't listen in on them. He tells the other two that he picked this planet to conquer on purpose, as it's close to a fairly worthless planet called Earth. As a boy, Vegeta's father told him a story as a way to teach him. A story about how to handle disobedient underlings. He told Vegeta of the execution of Paragus and the exile of Broly. Vegeta didn't care much for the story at the time, but it could be good for them to have another Saiyan on their side in the fight against Frieza that will inevitably come. So Vegeta tells Raditz to go retrieve Broly from Earth. The planet should be long since conquered by now, so it should be an easy enough task. So after a year of travel, Raditz arrives on Earth to find that it hasn't been conquered yet. Even more surprising, there are two high power levels near each other, so Raditz instantly flies over to investigate. When he arrives on Mount Paozu, Broly and Chi-Chi were already alerted to his presence while he flew over. Raditz is about to ask Broly why he hasn't conquered this planet, but decides to drop it for now. Raditz instead tells Broly about the Saiyan race, their destruction, and how the remaining Saiyans work under Frieza, a tyrant that they need Broly's help to overthrow. Despite Raditz trying to gain Broly's sympathy and trust, Broly rejects the offer, saying to Raditz that so long as Frieza isn't coming to Earth, he couldn't care less about going into space to kill someone he's never met. He wants to enjoy his life, not waste it fighting other people's battles. Raditz snickers and informs Broly that this isn't a choice, quickly moving behind Chi-Chi and grabbing her. He tells Broly if he doesn't join them, the woman dies. Raditz laughs and tells them not to resist. Power levels over 500 may be good for this planet, but they just aren't enough to beat him. What Raditz didn't know is that Broly and Chi-Chi could suppress their power. His scouter begins to go off as he looks at Chi-Chi, who's freed herself from his grasp. Her power level is rising, reaching all the way to 1700 before stopping. Now Raditz realizes just how outclassed he is. Raditz nervously laughs as Chi-Chi says he shouldn't look down on her. She begins to battle Raditz, though a battle isn't a fair way to describe how one-sided this encounter is. Before she can deliver the final blow, Raditz tells Chi-Chi and Broly that there's no way they'd be a match for his Saiyan companions. The other two are far stronger than himself and will be on this planet soon after his death. Chi-Chi doesn't want to hear it though, and she finishes him off. Before the two can discuss what to do now, Roshi enters their minds using telepathy that he gained from becoming Kami. He tells the two to come to the lookout, and they agree. Roshi says that he's spoken with King Kai, a god above himself, and learned that the Saiyans are truly as strong as Raditz made them out to be. He tells the two not to worry though, since they have an ace up their sleeve. The Saiyans don't believe in training, and even if they did, their year will be spent traveling to Earth. This means a year of training can be done to prepare for the arrival, and even more than that, they have the Room of Spirit and Time. As it is now, the room can only be used twice in someone's lifetime, so it's best to only use it once just in case they ever need it again. With this, they'll have 2 years total to train, while the Saiyans have absolutely nothing. Both Broly and Chi-Chi accept the offer and begin to train in the Time Chamber. While they're inside, Roshi contacts Tenshinhan, tells him of the threat, and says that he will use the Room of Spirit and Time as well, with Roshi as his training partner. Once the year passes, it's time for the Saiyans to arrive. Thanks to Roshi's communication with King Kai, they know the exact time the Saiyans will land, so Broly and Chi-Chi head over to a wasteland in order to face them. Tenshinhan is about to follow them, but Roshi stops him, saying that those two are the best chance they have right now. If Broly and Chi-Chi fail, Roshi and Tenshinhan will have to use the time chamber again, and hope it'll be enough. Tenshinhan hates this feeling of helplessness, but he knows it's for the best, so he agrees to stay behind. In the wasteland, Vegeta and Nappa waste no time facing Broly and Chi-Chi. Vegeta scoffs and tells Broly that he has no interest in him anymore. A power level of only 1700 would be no help against Frieza. But Vegeta was wrong on two fronts. He assumes that Broly's power hasn't grown in a year, and he thinks Raditz's scouter transmitted Broly's power level, not Chi-Chi's. Vegeta tells Nappa to handle the Earth Woman. He wants to face Broly himself to show him the true power of a Saiyan elite. Nappa agrees, and the two pairs face off. But as the battle begins, Vegeta and Nappa are given the shock of their lives. Broly and Chi-Chi power up. Chi-Chi's power level settles around 10,000, while Broly's power level settles at 18,000, equal to Vegeta's.
Vegeta power level right now is 18,000.
He may be hiding more underneath. Nappa is terrified, but stupidly prepares to fight, while Vegeta is enraged to find Broly is a match for himself. Nappa tries his best to fight back against Chi-Chi, but he's just no match for her. She shows him no mercy and ends the Saiyan's life. She has no interest in sparing space pirates who want to take over an empire for their own evil schemes. Vegeta tells Broly that he is indeed strong, but the removal of his tail is a fatal mistake he won't live to regret. So, at the cost of some of his own power, Vegeta creates an artificial moon and transforms into an Ozaru. The 10 times boost more than makes up for the loss of base power, and Vegeta thinks this is the guaranteed victory he's been looking for. That's when Broly's power begins to rise as well. The base power he was holding back isn't enough to close the gap on its own, but there was something boiling just below the surface, a transformation. In the 4-year time skip, Broly learned to tap into the Kari form at will, and in the time chamber, he mastered it. With this, he has the power of an Ozaru without the lumbering movements and without needing to lower his base power to create an artificial moon. With no difficulty, Broly is able to remove Vegeta's tail and beat him into submission. But he doesn't kill him. He doesn't want to let himself succumb to his emotions. He doesn't want to be enveloped by rage and depression. Chi-Chi tells Broly to end it already, but he just can't bring himself to do it. Vegeta is pitiful, weak by comparison, and more importantly, he's afraid. Not afraid of Broly, not afraid of dying, but he's afraid of something beyond the scale of them both.
Oh man,
that's crazy.
Yeah, so he's already.
He's powerful. He's just,
yeah, it's really ain't gonna be no problems till he gets to like maybe.
Especially
like,
if he's training.
Yeah, continuously training. There ain't gonna be no problems till he hits Frieza. Frieza was just such a power level, 80 million, 120 million in Dragon Ball. What are you even talking about? It's like until then, there won't be any problems.
Yeah,
Captain Game.
Like compare like the Genji Force to like fucking niggas in Dragon
They're on
Ball.
like 80,000. What? Or the Genji Force is like in the 80,000s, 90,000s.
Compared to like villains of Dragon Ball, like Tambourine and shit.
Tambourine, they're not.
They're not even like.
They're not even saying. But yeah.
What were they?
What?
Tambourine, all the.
They were just spawns of like they were like Demon King Piccolo's kids, like demons he created, I guess.
So they're like little half breed Namekians.
Yeah, they're like half demon, half Namekians, pretty much. Cause he's not full. He was like a Demon King Piccolo was like a split of Kami from when Kami had landed from a long time ago on Earth. He kind of had like an evil side and a dark side, and he kind of split apart from each other. And the one part became Kami, and the other part became the Demon King. But I think at some point he had like sealed him away or something. And I think it was with the Masuwa or something like that. It was like an old master, one of the old masters that sealed him away. But he's but hey man, let us know you want to see more of this down in the comments. This is interesting. Hit that like button, subscribe, and share. We're to 10K subscribers. We'll see you next time. Peace.